I'm Brianna, and welcome to My Geekdom. You don't know me, and there's no reason why you should. I'm just another person on the internet who wants to talk about the things they love. I am in no way a professional. I'm recording this on a laptop that is 100% not designed for it, and it is just me, so if you see me looking down at notes or pulling out my phone to double check facts, that's because there's no one around to help me do so. There's also going to be a lot of issues with sound and me tripping over words. That's because I don't know how to edit any videos. I just really want to talk about the things I love, and I hope that you love them half as much as I do. So let's start off with the fact that Critical Role is back for Campaign 4. We are in Armand with new Game Master Brennan Lee Mulligan taking over for Matt Mercer, who is getting to play in an absolutely insane setup of 13 players doing a Westward March style game of multiple tables doing multiple things at the same time, and I know we are also excited for it. I was sat on Thursday on my phone at work watching just like my coworkers do on Sunday when football is on, and a friend told me that's because this is our NFL, and she is 100% right. Now, being the first episode of this season, not a lot happened plot-wise, except for we got introduced to all of these new characters at a funeral, and I will come right off the bat. Listen, we all love the original Critical Role team. There is no denying that. I would die for Ashley Johnson. Just putting it out there. I would die for her. And if you wouldn't, then you're clearly a very selfish person. But the scene stealer for this first episode for me was Whitney Moore coming in as Tyranny. I love to play a chaos character myself, so when you have a demon who is not invested in the heartbreak of the people at a funeral because she's new to Earth and she's learning how to drink, yeah, I was here for it. Of course, this is just the beginning, so we don't know where things are going to go. Marisha coming in with her dwarf character with the beard and the boobs, yeah, we're all down for that. And if you were like me and my friends, you immediately started in on who is the hottest. No argument. Liam O'Brien, hottest in real life, hottest in the game. Let's see this orc with his gray sideburns and his tragic backstory get more screen time. I can't wait. Thank you, Brennan, for starting with Liam, because that's the way it should always be in my book. Now, let's follow that lead over to Cloudward Ho. Again, if you are a Dungeons & Dragons fan, if you watch live play tables, then these are the top two on your list. This is over on Dimension 20, hosted by Brennan Lee Mulligan again, and over on Dropout, it's Dimension 20. Cloudward Ho is set in the skies. Current obsession over there, Vanellope Chapman. Siobhan Thompson, who throughout the course of Dimension 20 has consistently played support characters, people there to make others look good. Recently, she's really started to, in my opinion, enjoy her characters, to be a little funner, to let loose a little bit more. And I want to thank Abria Iyengar for running Burroughs End, where she got to play Jason. And that character, I think, really unlocked something in Siobhan that's allowed her to play Vanellope Chapman. She has an interesting backstory, strong character development, and come on, we're all obsessed with her and Bert and exactly what they're going to do with her new tentacle arm. But the real person holding this season together for me is going to be Murph. When you are playing the straight man in a season that involves Roman dinosaurs and fighting tentacle sea creatures at the bottom of the ocean, and the person you have the best relationship with is an automaton who has issues holding on to his own heart. Yes, Maxwell is absolutely slaying it and looking good while doing it. We can all agree that the cameramen and the editors this season agree with that too, and they've been spending a lot of time focusing on him. Basically, go Emily, you got a good one. Now, the next part of Dropout Television that I am all about is Gastronauts. Jordan Myrick is back with season 2 of her cooking show where comedians give professional chefs insane challenges. This has become an instant comfort show, just like everything else on Dropout has for me. I spend my lunch breaks watching these shows to give myself a little bit of joy throughout the day. But Jordan Myrick has been able to really bring together a show, her friends, comedians, and make it an enjoyable thing. In case you're somebody like me who, yeah, maybe you can cook, but you don't get that much joy from it. So watching these professional chefs get challenges like make me a puzzle out of food, or Paul F. Tompkins, his, what was it? It was a nighttime, like dusk in the fall, and it was great. Just give me something homey and comforting and fun and different that we aren't seeing on the Food Network challenges. That will take us over from my second favorite food show to my first favorite food show, Great British Bake Off. Yeah, you're probably like me, where if you're in your late 30s, early 40s, when British Bake Off first made its way over to the US on PBS, one of your parents was probably watching it, and you were thinking, why the hell would I? Except for now you get it, because you need that comfort. You need a competition show where people just want to help, which actually I did notice in that last episode of Gastronauts when one of the contestants had a little bit of extra time. He went and helped out his competitors, just like those on Great British Baking Show are known to do. So we are, I believe, 4 episodes into this season, and currently my money is on Aaron. I think he's going to be that middle ground contestant who's just sort of, sometimes he's up high, sometimes he's down low. I think he's just gonna slide into that finale, into the final 3. I hope he wins so far. He hasn't given me a reason to not like him, so I appreciate that. And at the very least, I want him to get his handshake. Ooh. Microphone down. Now, Netflix is also going to bring us to the new trailer for Zombievor, a zombie show from Thailand. It seems to be, based on the trailer, set in a college during a zombie outbreak, where either the virus was made in the college and got released on accident. I'm not entirely sure, but it releases on Netflix on October 31st. I am a zombie lover. I hardcore am here all of the time. I still have my Resident Evil novels on my shelf from back in the day. Actually, that's not entirely true. The ones I originally had, I gave away over time and had slowly recollected them through thrifting books. But yeah, basically they also taught me that I'm much more of a coward now than I was as a small child back in '98 when the original Resident Evil video game came out, and immediately became a staple for my brother and I for how we connect and the things that we enjoy together. Basically, though, that this new Zombievor trailer looks like Thailand's version of All of Us Are Dead, which, if you are a zombie fan, you know there is a season 2 on its way sometime soon. yeah, I really can't say anything else because I'm not sure yet. I am sure when it comes out, I took Halloween off this year just because I could. So that will be my whole day, and I can't wait to see what's going on because if you are a K-drama fan at all, you know the best version of Boys Over Flowers would be F4 Thailand. And since then, I have watched multiple shows. I'm all about K-dramas, J-dramas, C-dramas, but Thailand has definitely given us some fantastic shows. So I can't wait to see what it is that they do with zombies. Will it beat Happiness? Probably not. But nothing's really beating Happiness in my book. Alright, so let's hit back over onto US television. I am a basic bitch. Yes, I love me some cop shows. I personally blame my mother, who named me after Christine Cagney from Cagney and Lacey. So yeah, it's 100% on her. Every cop show, every not a cop show, every procedural that I like, definitely my mother's fault. Now, my number one is going to always be Psych. I am a hardcore psycho, huge fan of James Roday Rodriguez, which brings me over to High Potential, which started with season 2. Now, what does this have to do with James Roday Rodriguez from Psych? Well, he is the director of the season 1 finale, Let's Play, and episodes 1 and 2 of season 2, Pawns and Checkmate, where our lead character, Morgan, is obsessed with a villain called the Game Maker, played by David, cannot remember his last name, the dude from Grimm. Somehow he got hotter. I don't know if any of us thought that he could, but he did. So the reason why that this one really sticks out to me, besides Caitlin Olsen's incredible performance and those of her supporting cast, is that when I first watched the finale Let's Play of season 1, I was thinking, oh, this is like the Yin Yang series from Psych. Different. Not as good, not bad in any way, shape, and or form. Again, I really enjoy High Potential, but the fact that I then found out that James Roday Rodriguez is the director, I can't help but think he definitely brought some of that yin yang energy into these episodes, and I hope that he comes back for more, because not only did I love the script, the acting, but the way that he directed the cast is something that I definitely enjoyed, and I want us all to enjoy that in the future too. Basically, always more James Roday Rodriguez. Now, the thing that I will never shut up about, and if you are my coworkers on Friday morning, you know, number one show, since the pilot, 911. Season 9 is returning this Thursday. Sans Bobby, which, yeah, that's bullshit. If you are a 911 fan, you 100% agree. There was no reason to kill Bobby, and the argument that it was for realism is stupid. It's just dumb. I have been watching since season 1. They have saved a woman from her, not anaconda, freaking, I can't remember what snake, the tsunami arc, absolute favorite. Bear arc. I am here and sat every single time. But struck by lightning, hit by car, rod through the head. They came after Jennifer Love Hewitt by slicing her throat. You can't take a Scream Queen out like that, and they didn't. But somehow they decide that killing Bobby with a leaked poisonous chemical was going to make things more realistic. That's silly. I'm not boycotting the show. I think it's even sillier to boycott the show, because that's not going to bring Bobby back. So instead, I'm excited for what they're doing with this season 9 trailer. When they showed us that promo with the sky falling, fucking of course. Why not? Of all the things that happened, why the hell not? And when they show Athena and Hen going to space, my first thought was, I sure hope that this is poking fun at Musk. And it did. So when this full trailer got dropped, I was I wasn't surprised to see that a millionaire is sending Athena and Hen to space. I was surprised that it's because they saved him from being eaten by a whale. You know, that super serious show where people get eaten by whales. Now, we know this happens. We know that whales hate billionaires. So that's why I'm really excited to see where that part goes. If they get any backlash for it. And even more importantly, the fact that Karen is the one who convinces Hen to actually go to space, amazing. We all know, if you are a fan of the show, I should say, that Karen's dream was to be an astronaut, but she was unable to actually become one. So instead, she's just a regular old rocket scientist. So the fact that her wife, her love, gets to fulfill that dream for her is really exciting. And I'm going to be very interested to see where she might feel like, is she going to feel any responsibility when things go haywire and this ship comes down to crash? It looks like from the episode release titles, it's going to be a 4-episode arc, which we all know is not uncommon. The cruise ship took over 3 episodes, I think, and so did the Beanado. Again, super serious show. We 100% needed to kill the lead to make sure that realism gets through. Now, this is also going to lead us to 911 Nashville. Of course I'm going to be sad. It's my Robin. It's my D'Artagnan. Chris O'Donnell is leading the firehouse. I am here. I am done. Let's go with Leanne Rimes. I can't recall now if she's his current wife or his ex-wife. But it seems like a bigger part of this show, at least from the trailer, is feeling very much like an classic daytime soap opera, which, yeah, there's soapy things in the original 911 and the other spin-off with Rob Lowe that I just didn't get that into. I watched the first season, but it didn't just capture my heart the way that season 1 or that original 911 did. So I'm interested to see what happens with 911 Nashville. Is it a little played to once again have the male fire captain having issues with his son? Yeah, 100%. We saw it with Bobby and Buck. We saw it with Rob Lowe and his character's son. And yes, I know Buck is not Bobby's biological son, but it is fully agreed, and in one of the best lines and scenes of the show, when May tells Bobby, everybody knows that our mom brought 2 kids and you brought 1 into this marriage. So once again, we are watching a man leading the team dealing with his family issues. But we'll see who ends up really stealing the scenes in the show once it begins. Again, that is going to be this Thursday, which is now 911 night. That is, October 9th? Yeah, October 9th. Alright. Now, my very last television recap for our pilot episode is going to be Wayward, back on Netflix. The teaser trailer that I saw for this on Instagram, I had no idea what the show was about. I did not know Toni Collette was in it. If you told me Toni Collette was in it, then yeah, I would have watched it the second it dropped. I'm going to follow that woman anywhere. But no, I just saw a kid running through the woods, and yesterday I had some free time, meaning the whole day. So I binged the whole thing. Looking at reviews, I'm gonna hardcore disagree with some of them who said that the show did not fully, like, it didn't land its ending. It's 8 episodes long. I want to say the longest was like 45 minutes, so it's not long at all. It was created by and stars Mae Martin. Sorry, huge fan of Mae Whitman as well. But Mae Martin, who I have never heard of until yesterday, probably because she's Canadian and they like to keep their best secrets to themselves. But they play a young married cop moving to his wife's hometown. And it's not actually really a hometown. It is where she went to school. Toni Collette is the owner. She's in charge of the school. And it's really more of a rehabilitation center. So she provides a home to these two new, I believe their characters' names are Alex and Laura, to have a fresh start after Alex did something and went too far in a way that would be considered police brutality. They didn't really get into it, but based on what happens throughout the rest of the show when Alex loses control, it's very easy to assume that whatever did happen, Alex lost control while protecting somebody. That in no way excuses violent behavior. I'm just stating that the character they build, it's easy to assume that that is what happened. Now, spoilers. This is going to be a spoiler station. I'm not normally one who likes to spoil things. I don't mind if people spoil things for me because how it plays out, how I see it, or how I read it tends to be different from what people will say to me, so I can still enjoy it without feeling like something is ruined. Wayward asks, what happens when the Colts win? And I mean C-U-L-T, not C-O-L-T. I am not talking football. I'll never be talking football. So it turns out that the school in Toni Collette's character took over a cult and used the land to build a school and eventually the entire community from the graduates of her school. Alex's wife, Laura, who upon returning to the school, Toni Collette's character has been obsessed with her for some reason that I will say, like, those are my biggest gaps. I don't really understand specifically why she was obsessed, because Toni Collette's whole thing is that parents cause generational trauma, but then it's followed up by, once they get to her character's backstory in the last couple of episodes, her parents, she was a teenager, got pregnant, her parents took the baby and gave the baby up for adoption, so she ran away and ended up joining this cult. So her whole thing is that parents are the root cause of generational trauma, and you have to remove children from their parents to stop that trauma from occurring. They want a world with no new children. They only want to save the adolescents who have already been hurt. Okay, that's fine. But then she becomes obsessed with the character of Laura, and is it because she is looking for a specific child for herself? Is that why? Is it the strength she sees in Laura? And she also begins to, or I should say, the second half of the story, besides Alex and Laura moving back to this town, is actresses Olivia Allen Lind and Sydney Topleaf, I want to say is how you say her name. Sydney's character, Abby, gets forced into the school. Her father sends her off to keep her away from Lila, which is Olivia Allen Lind's character. This is the first time ever in anything that's coming to mind where someone breaks in to a rehab school, to a reformatory, and then she's forced to stay. Toni Collette's character blackmails her mom, forces her to pay money that they don't actually have. So Lila breaks in to save her friend Abby, and instead they both end up being stuck there. Eventually, again, in the last 2 episodes is really when they start to dig into the personal traumas of the main characters of Lila, Toni Collette's character, and Laura, and what their backstories are, what their traumas are. So it keeps the mystery alive throughout the show. I think that is done very well. It keeps you it's very suspenseful. You are there with them. You don't know. Alex is frightened, trying to figure out what's happening in this small, weird town that turned a school into a police station. And Abby is transforming from the idea of being a sidekick into being her own main character. That is a fun journey to watch. I think that Olivia Allen Lind, who I have watched, we've all watched this little girl grow up. I cannot remember the name of the movie, even though I love it so much, with Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler. She plays Adam Sandler's youngest daughter. So I've seen this kid in a bunch of things, including, I want to say it's called Outbreak on Netflix, so another zombie show. Not so good upon the second rewatch. During quarantine, I loved it. Convincing a friend to watch it with me, it had flaws. Not terrible flaws, but it has flaws. Matthew Broderick is not one of those flaws. And neither is Olivia Allen Lind. I will watch this kid. She's incredibly impressive as an actor, and I can't wait to see where she goes. I hope all the best for both her and Sydney Topleaf. Again, another young actress. I want to see what she does, because Abby was a really cool character who, in the end, got to take their own power. The few reviews that I read that said the landing didn't stick, I think they're upset because the cult wins. And not everything has a happy ending. It sucks. That's the world that we live in. It sucks. But they gave hope to Abby, and they gave love to Alex. So I don't know, I would kind of be curious to see a season 2 where Alex is, this small town cop with a newborn baby and a wife who's leading a cult that doesn't care about their child. It was weird to watch everybody undress and then pass baby around for skin-to-skin contact. We know how important that is, but it was still super uncomfortable. Don't think any of us were expecting it or ready for it. Alright, so that is covering my TV obsessions that are currently going on, and leaves me some time to talk to you guys about the two of the many books I've read. I gave myself a challenge this year to read 50 books. I'm not there. I fell short. Life happened. I stopped reading for a while, so I created a new setup to try and encourage myself to really hit that mark. I've got 24 books to go before the year has ended, but these are 2 of the most recent ones that I have read. We're gonna start off with Here Lies a Vengeful Bitch by Cody Crowley. This is a 3.5 stars. It was good, but when I picked it up, I've started doing this new thing where I don't want to read the back. I'm purely judging books by their cover now. Do I like the title, and do I like how the book looks? Yeah. So, Here Lies a Vengeful Bitch gave me the idea that someone was going to crawl out of their grave and seek vengeance. Now, our main character, Annie Lane, does do that. She crawls out of the river where someone left her very murdered body. She was stabbed a lot. And she seeks vengeance on whoever killed her. But on her way, she meets, and I do love the title, her body is on Resurrection Peak. So if you are killed on Resurrection Peak and your body remains there, then you are more of a poltergeist, like less of a ghost. You have ghost-like qualities, but you can still eat, you can still drive a car, change your clothes. You can live as a human if you really want to, but with all of these super cool ghost powers. Since Annie was drowned, she tends to leak a lot of river water and muck, which is pretty cool. She has this cool ability where she literally sunk her fingers into this asshole Trevor's head and was able to get his memories of the night that she disappeared. So there are really cool things. Each ghost, depending on how they dies, has a bit of a different ability that they don't go into, and that's part of what pulls this book down. Like, I enjoyed it, but the ghost world that was created on Resurrection Peak is super cool. I want to know about all of the different ghosts in all the different houses. I want to know more. Like, they introduced the characters of Fern and Sam. Sam eventually becoming a love interest for Annie. And, like, they somehow... Sam is murdered. He's lynched by a mob because they believe he is responsible for the deaths of 5 girls, including Fern. The spirit that guides Annie to this conclusion is a smoke spirit, like literally just smoke. I want to know that story, but they don't go into it. They created this amazing, cool ghost world that I want to truly enjoy, but we don't get to. And that makes me a little sad. On the other hand, I am all about vengeance. Get your revenge. That's fine that you tried to kill your boyfriend. But again, this is another one in where reviews where people are like, oh, I don't like the protagonist, or talking about how you're not supposed to. She doesn't really have a personality to like or dislike. I didn't bond with her as a character. I am very ashamed of myself. Again, I love mysteries. Give me all the murder. I want to solve them. I want to fail at solving them. I want to be wrong when I guess who did it. And I was wrong. I guessed that her best friend Mara was the one who killed her. My reasoning for it, because it is not stated in the book that Mara is a lesbian, but the way it's written really comes across more as, I'm not mad at my best friend for choosing crappy guys, but more, I'm mad at my best friend because I'm secretly in love with her. Every scene written with the two of them together. But I am a shipper. I want everybody to love. You know? I want them all to love. Oh, I screamed at this book, just kiss. Just like I do watching TV. Just kiss. They didn't. So I'm glad I'm wrong, because it seemed like the reason, if Mara had been the killer, the reason she would have killed Annie is because gay. And that's a terrible reason. So I was really happy that I was wrong, and yet I still wasn't happy with who the actual killer was. I can't say why. Like, I just wasn't. Now, other people could absolutely love it. I will not spoil who the killer is, but it just wasn't for me in the end. Love vengeance. Let's go. Go ahead, kill all those dudes. Men suck. Leo's 100% a pedophile. There's no two ways around it. That guy totally is. He might just be lying to himself or never been caught, but that dude's fucked up. He deserved to have his throat slashed. Her ex-boyfriend and his creepy-ass friends deserved way worse things to happen to them. Her brothers were just sort of there. Like, I don't know if they actually needed to include her mom and give this character a twin brother and a little brother. They didn't serve a purpose. They didn't even really, like, they didn't help her try and solve what was going on. You're just supposed to accept that everybody in this town hates her, but there's no reason why, and I can't fully support that. So, here lies the vengeful bitch. If you are a fan of Jennifer's Body, then you are gonna like this book. You just are. It falls into that same category, those same vibes and feels. She just doesn't come back as a demon per se. So, read it if you are looking for a pretty quick read, if you want to have men get what they deserve for sexualizing women, cheating on them, physical abuse, being creepy assholes. Get your vengeance here. I do kind of really hope that Cody Crowley does something with this ghost world. I would love to see more of it. I really want to know what's going on with that skeleton band. They seem dope. I want to know the twins' backstory. How did those two preteens die and end up on this hill? And has years of being dead made them a little wacky, or were they always a little wacky? And what the heck is up with Deer's story? Big burly dude, doesn't say a lot, but likes to dress up, play music, and romance Fern. I want to know. I wanted to know more about that. Then I wanted her to find out who killed her. Okay, so finally, we are going to wrap this up with my 5-star read that I would not shut up about to my book club, hoping that I could get someone to read it as well. Scout's Honor by Lily Anderson, right? Yeah, Lily Anderson. Fucking fantastic. First we're going to start with this candy-colored cover. It is teal. It's got 3 Girl Scouts dressed in pink, but all of them have pink hair, and they're covered in purple blood, holding a knife. Like, what is up? I wanted to badly know what was going on in this book. What's going on in this book is a shit ton of trauma for every woman that's ever existed. This book, so Scout's Honor, the pretense is that there is a young lady society called the Lady Bird Scouts, and they've been around since like the 1800s, and they dress prim and proper and have tea parties, and their scout uniforms are all pink, and they go camping, and they give out free car washes. They don't ask for donations of any kind. They don't sell cookies. They give out can't remember, I think it was called like bird bark or something. It's basically just seeds and honey, which has its place, but not as a delicious snack. Well, I mean, sometimes it's a delicious snack, but most of the time, not so much. The truth is, though, that the ladybirds are more of a secret society where young girls are trained in violent arts to kill monsters that strong emotions bring from a parallel universe. So they focus on, I want to say that it's 3. Let's take a look here at the very beginning when they break it down. You have the one for happiness. Here we go. Yeah, there is the dreary blight for when you're sad. The scranch, which is drawn to anger. A knockjaw, which is drawn to happiness. fright worms for fear, and tizzy louse for general apprehension. So basically, anytime you get really anxious, these drizzy louse are little tiny, like they're described as fuzzy chicken nuggets, appear. They're easily killed. The main form of killing, besides weaponry, is if they are small enough, you can kill them with mint, which is actually pretty cool, since if you know, mint is used a lot to get rid of bugs and kill bugs. It's the main ingredient in one of the things I'm obsessed with, Zevo bug spray. Highly recommend. But the main character of Prudence, of Prue, her best friend died while they were fighting one of these monsters in the woods, and they were only 13 years old. She suffers from severe PTSD, asked to quit the Ladybird Scouts, even though her family is multi-generational. This is their main thing, and she wants to forget it all because of that severe trauma. But her mom and aunts want to force her back in. So when she gets caught sneaking back in after sneaking out, she is punished by being forced to teach her younger cousin, how to become a ladybird. In that process, her cousin, her boyfriend's little sister, and her new best friend end up all drinking the tea that allows you to see monsters. And then they become obsessed. Like, she's stuck training them for the summer. Her whole goal is to be able to complete this task, have access, and be able to order the tea of forgetting, because she doesn't want to remember what happened anymore. She doesn't want that trauma of watching her friend get eaten. So these monsters will start out with white eyes. They either go from white eyes to black eyes, which is when they're carnivorous and start eating people and or each other, or it's the reverse. I can't remember now. It's actually been a couple of weeks since I finished the book. When that happens, they become more dangerous. They grow bigger. They can eat people. So the original scout troop, the one girl eaten, dead, gone. Another girl loses her arm. Prue ends up with a huge scar and PTSD. But when she goes to quit the scouts and is supposed to be given the tea of forgetting, she thinks her mom is the one who withheld it from her. It turns out later on that her scout leader took it for herself and has been BSing the entire rest of the time. What makes this book stick out, why I am obsessed with it, is that the message of the emotional weight put on women is constant throughout, and it goes back and forth from subtle to slapping you in your face. No, the emotional maturity, like being responsible for the anger of your parents, your siblings, your cousins, your boyfriend, that shouldn't end up on the shoulders of women. And it starts in this book when you are just 10 years old, when you enter these scouts as a young lady, as a young ladybird. These 10-year-olds are trained to protect people from their emotions and to have complete control over their own emotions. They're taught to fight and risk their lives at only 13 years old. They go into the woods because they are convinced that they are unstoppable, that nobody can beat them, and there's no way for them to lose in this battle against the monsters. And when it becomes blatantly obvious that children shouldn't be that responsible, people get hurt. As the book goes on, one of the most heartbreaking moments for me, so Prue's mother is a very hardcore into ladybirds, into her family heritage and what that means to be a ladybird. She's disappointed by Prue. Throughout the book, Prue talks about their lack of connection and how in these moments she feels that her mom has never been proud of her unless she's killing